fall, that I'm not enough. I don't blame you that the feeling's gone, but I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. Cause everything I've been dreaming of is crumbling in my fucking arms. And I'm panicking to get it back. She cut me off, no strings attached. Gandalf, she said I shall not pass. I hide my feelings with a mask. Should've known that nothing's ever really built to last. At least not for me. Can somebody show me just what is wrong with me? But maybe that's just all in my head. Cause I thought that I'd be yours for forever. Now you understand why I can't close my eyes. Your best friend said you left for the better. Super glad you're great, but hurts on the inside. It's all in my mind, it's all in my head. The more that I talk, the more you're away. And I thank God I know you're gonna be okay. I drown in Patron, got lost in the rain. And you're so cold, left the homies stranded in the North Pole. I make plans, you know, show, but I always come back like yo-yo. Such the kids these days, they just tryna fuck. Henny in my hand, trip laying in the mud. There goes Hack, always falling in love. It's the same damn song that goes on and on and on. I thought that I'd be yours for forever. Now you understand why I can't close my eyes. Your best friend said you left for the better. Super glad you're great, but hurts on the inside. I thought that I'd be yours for forever. Now you understand why I can't close my eyes. Your best friend said you left for the better. Super glad you're great, but hurts on the inside. Yeah. See you. With love.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing out there? October 17, 2024. I'm Alex. He's David.
Yes.
Hey, well, Dave. What's up, Dave?
Hi. I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
Will you fix that fucking static?
I don't know why it's still happening.
Why is it? Why?
I don't know.
It's terrible.
Why? Why exactly?
Why? Anyway, how's everyone doing out there? We appreciate everyone for jumping on with us and hanging out. If you are still recovering from our 3-hour unexpected marathon last night, we're happy that you're back because we did not expect that, but it was lots of fun. We had X-Wing pop in yesterday, which was pretty freaking awesome as we went over Kamala Harris's fantastic, brilliant interview that she did over on Fox News with Brett Baer. So we're pumped to be here. I'm going to go through my preamble as I always do. And I actually added something, Dave, so you'll like this. More time for you to just hang out.
Yeah.
So first things first, the Epstein quiet list. I'm going to keep on talking about. I'm not going to talk as much right now, but overall, we need to talk about it as much as possible. We need to get people out there. So like I said, talk about your local politicians, talk to them, tell them that they need to talk about this. They need to raise it, talk to your federal politicians, all that stuff. And any other your favorite podcasters. If you're someone that, gives super chats or chats, make sure that you're chatting that so they can talk about it, bring light to it. Next thing, Helene and Milton. We always want to still continue to help those people out. So donate to your favorite charity. I'll say again, I like mercury1.org. But you can go wherever you want, whoever's giving help, however you can give help. And this is going to be an ongoing thing, a well over a year thing. So I'll probably be a broken record for a long time with that. Alex Jones is a standing invite. There's not much more to be said. InfoWars is getting fucked over left and right. So Alex Jones has a standing invite to be here whenever he wants, whenever he feels the need to talk and get his voice heard. And then before I go into my new thing, $1 for Moms for Liberty. That's all I ask. Send it over there because Moms for Liberty is freaking awesome. They're doing great work. They, fight for us. They fight for our kids. They try to get all the woke and DEI shit out of there. So if you can give just a single dollar to Moms for Liberty and you can convince everyone, and every Trump voter gives a single dollar towards them, gives a single dollar towards disaster relief, then all of a sudden we are looking at Millions of dollars going towards both of those things. So if you could just find $2, that's all I'm asking, $2 to go towards one thing and the other, we'll be sitting pretty. And the last thing I added, Dave, this is only going to be temporary, which, it's not going to be too long, but go sign up to work for your polls for election day. If you have the time, you get paid to do it. It's not much. Over here in New York, where I am, it's $300 for the day, which isn't much. It's not really going to make up for people missing some of their day's work, but please go help. It is important because, number one, if you want free and fair elections, then people from both sides need to be there. And there's always a lack of conservative representation. There's a lack of younger conservative representation. There's a lot of old people. And I love the old people. I love the old people. They're the best. But, they're good. They do their thing, but they're retired, so they can help. But we need more people willing to take off work. Now, this year, Dave, I was thinking about doing it, but I'll be in Florida during the election. So, and the thing is, too, you can work the polls every single year because there's an election going on every single year, some sort of local election, whether it's board, council, whatever it is. Work the poll. And also go vote early if you can. Get your vote counted now because early voting has started in a lot of places. My early voting starts in 9 days. Dave, do you know when West Virginia early voting starts?
No, I looked it up before. I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
But, everyone go early vote. If you have a mail-in ballot, send it the fuck in. Right now I saw actually there's 8 million mail-in ballots, a little bit over 8 million right now. And I think Republicans are actually doing fairly well. There's 35% Republicans to I think like 60-something% Democrats. So it's really not as much of a bloodbath as it usually is. Usually you're looking at like an 80-10 with another 10 being undecided or whatever. So, Republicans are actually doing pretty well with mail-in balloting right now. Now, it might get worse as we get closer. But early on, with 8 million mail-in ballots, there's pretty good numbers there. But do your part. If you have a mail-in, send it in. If you aren't going to be able to get there for early or election day, but if you can get to an early voting place, go and early vote. Don't wait for election day. So many things can fucking happen on election day. We've seen that now. With all of the problems, quote unquote, on election day, where all of a sudden election sites shut down for hours. And that election site happens to be a very red stronghold or a spot that Republicans absolutely need in a blue area. Don't let that happen. Don't let that be the case this time. Most places have at least a week beforehand. There's places that have like a month going on right now. Go vote now. Don't wait. If you can vote now, vote, and then vote as early as you can if you have early voting. Don't leave it to election day, okay? So that's my preamble there, Dave. Do you have anything to add to any of that?
No, I do want to call you out on being a dummy before this. I have seen nothing about The Undertaker saying he's going to fucking
forget
vote
who
for
said
Kamala
it.
Harris.
I
You're
forget who said
fucking
it. Someone said it.
insane. I was gonna, he wears 9-line apparel.
Nothing-
Anyone that wears 9-line is not voting for Kamala
Nothing
Harris.
surprises me in this thing. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, I'm looking this up. Like, where the fuck did he see
I
this?
forget where I heard it from. I heard
My
someone.
man got
say
his
that The
news from
Undertaker.
Harry Sisson. Just fucking says it to me. I can't
Right.
believe this nonsense.
It's not from Harry Sisson, but he's
I
a
know
trusted
it's-
source. Okay, Harry's trusted. Harry was been telling us that Biden was strong, that Biden was viable. He had sucked Biden's dick a few times in the White House, and they only needed to slip him Viagra one of those times. Okay, Biden was ready to go every time to give Harry Sisson a facial,
Let's move on.
while his boy Chris was like licking it off because they're fucking gay.
You're welcome.
Anyway.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's start off with our fun for the day, Dave. We're sticking with the election theme because I'm over here in New York and we got some shit going on in New York, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Pull that up if you can. I think I sent it to you.
Yes, you did.
So New York has a statewide proposition, and there is an amendment that they have going on. Now, I want to read this amendment because it's important, and it's important that people know, especially in the state of New York. And even if you're not in the state of New York, spread the word. Dave, if you go, it's under the overview. You're going to go down the constitutional changes. It'll go under ballot title. So keep scrolling to constitutional changes and you'll see text of section 11. Are you there?
No.
Oh, no. I think you went too far.
Did I?
You did.
You should have helped me out with this beforehand.
Hold on. Keep going. Go down. Go down. Text and measure.
The
Right.
Constitution. Here you go.
Yeah. So there it is. So people can read along. All right. So, text of Section 11, equal protection of laws, discrimination and civil rights prohibited. A, no person shall be denied the equal protection of laws of this state or any subdivision thereof. No person shall, because of race, color, ethnicity, national origin. So, we'll stop right there. Sounds pretty benign, right? But we need to talk about the doublespeak, Dave. There's always a doublespeak.
Mhm.
National origin. That is illegal immigrants, guys. That is saying just because you're from somewhere not in the United States, that New York cannot now discriminate you. So if you are a criminal alien crossing over New York, now this is basically saying they could do whatever the fuck they want. They're making them citizens in the eyes of the law without giving them citizenship. That's number one there. Okay, let's continue. Age, disability, creed, religion, or sex. And then here's how they conflate it, including sexual orientation, which, gay, bi, whatever, gender identity, gender expression, pregnancy outcomes, and reproductive health care and autonomy. So they are now codifying gender identity, so transgender, queer, which is gender expression, so basically whatever the fuck they want, pregnancy outcomes, so if that's a botched fucking abortion, reproductive health care, which is abortion. They're trying to now codify that word because abortion is scary and most people will put abortion next to murder. And autonomy. People could do whatever the fuck they want. So where this is being affected, and this is a lot going on here, Dave, right?
Mhm.
They are basically codifying everything that the left wants in this one law for New York. And why this is important for you if you don't live in New York. What goes on in somewhere like this? If this passes here, other leftist strongholds will do it. They will model it after this, and it now becomes harder and harder and harder to fight in these types of states. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are battling all this and understanding what these things mean when they say it. So again, you perk up your ears when you see these words: national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, pregnancy outcomes. That's the most fucked up one I've ever seen. And reproductive health care and autonomy. Okay. So be subjected to any discrimination in there. They took away his or her, Dave, because that's not gendered enough. It's too gendered, I mean. They took away his or her. They are saying that there is more than two fucking.
It's pretty funny.
There are more than two genders. They are codifying into law that there are more than two genders. So now it would also make it criminal if you are fighting back in schools against this trans bullshit. You will now be against the New York State Constitution if you go in there and say, I do not want my daughter playing in a game against a trans man, a boy dressing up as a girl. Dave, do you have anything before I keep going?
No, I can go.
Okay. Discrimination in their civil rights by any other person or by any firm, corporation, or institution, or by the state or agency or subdivision of the state pursuant of the law. All right. So B, nothing in this section shall, okay, this is your normal legalese, but I'll read it anyway. Nothing in this section shall invalidate or prevent the adoption of any law, regulation, program, or practice that is designed to prevent or dismantle discrimination on the basis of a characteristic listed in this section, nor shall any characteristic listed in this section be interpreted to interfere with, limit, or deny the civil rights of any person based on any other characteristic identified in this section. So, Dave, all Prop 1 is codify everything the left wants.
I do want to make this clear. So everything that's underlined, it says it up here, the rules of this.
It's new.
The things that are struck through are things that are being taken out, like or, his or her right here. Everything underlined is what's being added. So they're adding things to the first part, to A. And all of B is all in addition. And all of B is actually hilarious because it's basically saying everything up here doesn't fucking matter if we don't think it's equitable enough. That's really what B is saying. If we don't think it's equitable enough, if we don't think it's having the desired outcomes that we think for this appeared oppressed, marginalized minority, then we're allowed to do whatever we need to and adopt any law or anything in order to make them have an outcome that's attributed to the majority or the oppressor or however they want to put it. That's all B is saying. A could say whatever the fuck it wants at this point because B is basically saying we still get to do what we want if we think it's going to help those that we think needs the help.
Yeah. And The bottom line is, like I said, and the biggest thing about this, if you are someone that cares about your rights to raise your kids as they want, if you're someone that cares about your rights as a citizen, not being upended or taken away from you by fucking illegal criminal aliens, and if you just want to live and be able to express yourself, this takes away your First Amendment right of freedom of speech too. Because now that this is, again, also in a way codifying hate speech, because you are not allowed to speak out against this stuff. They will consider it hate speech under this law. So it's incredibly important for everyone to go and strike down Prop 1. Prop 1 is bad. Now, they are doing it, Dave. When I see the positives around me, it's vote Prop 1 for choice. They're only talking about the abortion stuff. That is the only way that they are promoting this is abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking terrible. It's deceptive. So it's interesting, Dave. I want you to scroll down a little. Go down to support. Because I want to see here who's supporting it and the difference between you see it. Go to officials right there, and it's right underneath supporters. So Kirsten Gillibrand, U.S. Senator, Hakeem Jeffries, which is the minority. Kirsten. I don't give a fuck about her name.
Pretty sure it's Kirsten.
I don't care. I thought it was Kirsten.
I thought it was Kirsten.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Regardless, she's useless. But Governor Kathy Hochul and then some state senators, state assemblymen that aren't pretty useful. Well, actually,
Letitia James is in there.
And Letitia James is in there. That's another one. Organizations, Jewish Community Relations Council. Why? League of Women Voters in New York. They're fucking retarded. Make the Road. NAACP. National Institute for Reproductive Health. Not surprised. New Pride Agenda. New York Civil Liberties Union. New York Immigration Coalition. Planned Parenthood Action Fund. Planned Parenthood New York. Dave, you've listened to New Discourses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this not exactly what James Lindsay said was going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
That all of these individuals with seemingly, differentiating goals are all going to start to create a coalition.
Well, we've already seen this happening though. This has been consistent. This is intersectionality. This is all stuff that we know of. That's the thing.
I don't care about the arguments. You can go on and read this if you want to. I actually don't care about the arguments. Go ahead, Dave. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, but this is the whole basis of intersectionality and things like that. It's for the politics of all those that might have slightly different goals to intersect, and they all come together in order to push one bigger goal in order for all of them to get something out of that pie. That's the whole purpose of it. That's what Kimberly Crenshaw really hits on with intersectionality. So it's not surprising to see them all work together, and they've been consistently all working together. So this is honestly pretty normal at this point.
So, Dave, I want you to scroll down and go down to the opposition. And this is how weak and fucking feckless the Republicans are, okay? And conservatives. Notice the difference here, Dave. Is there a single national individual under the officials?
Nope.
Not a one. So here's the thing. Everyone in New York with me, or next time you see Elise Stefanik's fucking bitch ass, Nicole Malliotakis, Gambarino, Molinaro, Lawler, any of these motherfuckers. And I know I should be supporting Lawler and Molinaro because they're fucking running right now. But this is the type of shit that pisses me off. They are so scared of losing their campaigns that they're not going to speak out against this shit and openly put their name in there as people who are against it. That pisses me the fuck off, Dave. This is the type of stuff that gets me going. And I don't care if anyone from my committee watches this and is like, or anyone from their campaigns watches this too, because also, where's some of the people that we fucking interviewed? I'm sorry. Where's Allison Esposito? Out there openly saying that she's against this. Maybe her name wouldn't be put up here. Maybe she's not high profile.
Yeah, I don't think she'd be.
Where the fuck is Lee Zeldin? Where's Lee Zeldin? Where are some of the other people like that? That's the type of shit that drives me crazy. Is that when they talk these big games and the leftists always get their big guns out for shit like this, right? Those are all important people. And Hakeem Jeffries isn't even a New York fucking Republican, a Democrat. Okay? I don't believe he is, actually. Regardless, they have big guns coming out.
No, they opened it up.
What do we have? They have nothing. Political parties, a Republican Party in New York, organizations, Moms for Liberty. We fucking loves Moms for Liberty.
He's New York's 8th congressional district.
I didn't know Hakeem was New York. Oh, he's an asshole anyway. But still, he's a part of it. And he's national, right? Not afraid to speak out. And here's the thing. Kirsten Gillibrand's running again. It's not like she's not running. So she's in the middle of a campaign. She's not afraid to put her neck out there. But Moms for Liberty, New York Catholic Conference, Priests for Life, Students for Life of Action. Like, this is wild. Absolutely fucking wild that there's not a single big name that's in there. So I mean, this stuff drives me nuts. There's a lot of contributions that went down. New York Civil Liberties Union cash contributions of $1.3 million to support this shit, this bill. Opposition, the biggest one of opposition, one big donor, Carol Cross, $290,000. This is why the right loses on all of their shit, okay? This is why. Weak and feckless people that are afraid to lose elections and only want to win and then maybe go in there and say, I'm going to try now. Nonsense. Every single New York Republican and conservative in the Assembly and the Senate, in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, anyone that's important or a big name should be out against this. And it should be bigger news. The fact that, Dave, have you heard this on any of the shows that you watched, or have you seen any of this on X or anything like that?
No, I don't think anyone really cares about this.
Which is fucking crazy, because this is a trickle-down effect. You know when they'll care, Dave? When it gets passed, and now all of a sudden, all the other blue states do it, and then they all start trying to get in the purple states as well, because that's what happens. So it's important. I think people need to wake up to it. So I don't know, Dave, it doesn't seem like you find this to be as big of a deal as I do.
No, I mean, it's a decently big deal. It is a decently big deal, but the issue is that it gets difficult to fight every single thing in the country. It gets very difficult to fight every single thing in the country. And like when it comes to Gillibrand or Hakeem, like if you look at the arguments in support, they're not in that. They're simply not in that. Planned Parenthood has one, Letitia James has one, and Don Lieberman has one. But they don't have any of the arguments in there. They'd probably just slap their fucking name on it because it gets
enough though.
But it does it not really. It's just to have to slap their name on it, just so they could say that they were part of it. It's a virtue signal thing for them. And I do agree though that people in New York need to care about this.
But Dave, here's the thing. They slapped their name on it, but that's now fodder and that's now weaponization for people that are going saying, hey, if you're on the left, Gillibrand and Jeffries agree with us. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, they don't have the clout of that. They don't have the clout of that. The clout is in the argument. The clout is in the argument of choice. It's not in the name. No one fucking cares about Gillibrand or Jeffries. Not really.
Yeah,
they don't.
They don't. He's the minority leader.
They don't. They care about the clout of the argument.
Hey, he'll be the future. He will be the speaker if the left wins.
Yeah. Yet again, not many people care. Let's just be honest. Not many people care. If people care, there'd be more voting. There'd be more action. These things. They just don't. They care about the argument of whether it's choice or not. And that's why I think if you look at the arguments in opposition, they're actually some of these arguments are in the wrong end because they're arguing about it codifying late-term abortions is an issue. But that's the wrong way to hit this because the issue is that they do say it's very vague, but the issue is that you have to hard hit it on it being so damn vague that it could be used on anyone for any reason at any time. And I feel like that's the bigger argument that needs to be hit there. But overall, unfortunately, this is more of a New York thing, and you need the bigger names from New York to be able to hit it because honestly, there's too much shit going on in the country and other areas for other people to really care. I'm not going to lie to you. That's just how it is.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, even though it is big to pass that, but it's just like, okay, well, California's been passing shit even crazier, so no one fucking cares. The framing's been moved completely on that aspect.
So before we get out of here and do on to the next topic, I will just do a rundown of New York representatives for the federal. Nicholas Lalotta, where the fuck are you? Andrew Gambarino, where are you? Anthony D'Esposito, where are you? Nicole Malliotakis, I mentioned her, where are you? Mike Lawler, where are you? Mark Molinaro, where are you? Elise Stefanik, Brandon Williams, Nick Langworthy, Claudia Tenney, where the fuck are all of you? All of you need to be putting your names, doing what they do in this, putting your names into this, and maybe making a statement. Maybe just think about making a statement against a proposition that, Dave, you and I both know, if it gets passed, now they're going to run on it. Now they're going to be like, I'm here and I'm going to represent you in that. You see what crazy Albany just did. We're going to help protect you at the federal level when they didn't say a word, at least not notable that I've seen about this. So it's a big deal to me. And, whether or not people actually think it's a big deal, they need to, because this is going to affect your children. Bottom line, more than anything else, it's going to affect your kids. If you have a daughter that plays sports or does anything in general, if you have a daughter that goes to school and changes in a locker room, this is a big deal because now you are going to have a boy be able to be in there. When your daughter says anything, right now she's just shamed and they try. right? And you have more of the law on your side, and you can get the people and you can kind of get the public to move, and it can be fought against, right? If this law passes, your daughter's in the wrong, and you are in the wrong, and you now can face prosecutions of some way. So that's why this is important, and that's why we need to fight against it. But all right, let's go on to our next thing. More legal stuff, but there's a different type of legal thing.
Yeah, in a way.
It's legal. It is legal, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's not in the same way. So Dave, pull it up.
So, Gina Carano got another big win today. Well, yesterday, but she announced it today, I believe.
Yeah.
And what had happened was, I believe we actually covered it when it happened earlier in the year.
I think so.
But Disney and Gina Carano's lawsuit against Disney, they tried to dismiss it, and it was denied by the judge. So they decide to appeal the failed motion to dismiss the Ninth Circuit Court. And then now yesterday, that was just denied. And they're going to keep moving forward with the judicial process and into discovery.
And Dave, we absolutely covered it when we had Drunk 3PO on. He talked about it a good amount.
There you go. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we covered it.
With Drunk 3PO, yep.
Yes. So we're going to be heading into discovery, baby. Unless Gina Carano settles, or it's whatever the fuck she wants to do. It's not my prerogative.
I think as long as Elon's willing to pay her and keep paying for this, then she's going to be in. Now, Elon's, again, I have my skepticism about Elon. This is fucking dope, right?
Yeah.
And he also just tweeted that we need a video game block for voting. And our friend Stuttering Craig put a thing out there, and I tried to help out by being like, hey, Pastor Scott, do you know anyone that could hook up Stuttering Craig? Let's see if we can make that connection. But this is, it's not a legitimate win because there's still a long way to go in this lawsuit. But it's a win in the sense that typically these motions to dismiss do get carried because it's Disney in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Or there's kind of a hint that the judge will give, like, hey, we're going to carry this. You might want to settle. And then that person settles, right? That's kind of how this works. The fact that Disney got denied initially, and then, man, thank you, President Trump, for switching the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Because remember, that was like the most leftist Court of Appeals back during the Obama times, and everything was going through the Ninth Circuit. Everything. Anything leftist that they wanted, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals was just green stamping. They were basically Netflix with every fucking show, right? Trump flipped that with his appointees. And now the Ninth Circuit is not a conservative, but a fair circuit now, where you might get a good judge, you might still get a shit judge, but a lot of the crappier judges were out under Trump's tenure, and he put in. Honestly, if Trump doesn't win this time, his greatest legacy is his judges' appointments, because he knocked it the fuck out of the park with, maybe Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and Coney Barrett are okay. They're not the best, but his circuit judges, for most part, have been rock solid in a lot of ways. So this is a big deal because, like you said, now we go to discovery. Obviously, with the way Disney has been trying to get this dismissed, they don't want discovery.
Yeah. No, all in all, Gina might not win the lawsuit in the technical sense of actually winning the lawsuit, but it going to discovery and whatever comes out of discovery is probably going to be pretty fucking bad for Disney. I'm not going to lie to you.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out if it really does go in and they actually dig deep and find out all this stuff, because this whole lawsuit is predicated on the fact that they fired Gina Carano based on her political beliefs and did even more than that to basically try to kill her career, whilst others who played in the same show as her, who are on a Disney platform, a whole bunch, espouse their political beliefs in a much worse manner. Like, Gina really didn't do anything, in a much worse manner, and they're just perfectly fine. They're still starring in Disney stuff. It does not matter.
I would love to see like Pedro Pascal, Mark Ruffalo, and all these bitch asses have to take the stand. Mark Hamill have to take the stand.
They probably don't have to take. No, they won't have to take the stand.
At least make a statement.
Yeah, I don't even know if they have to do that. But the thing that might come out in discovery is what happened behind the scenes here.
Yep.
What happened? Like, because Gina, if I remember correctly, and I don't want to get this wrong if it is someone let me know. If I remember correctly, Gina basically said they tried to struggle session her. They put her in a meeting with like 20 other fucking people, and like, and everyone telling her how wrong she was, or like putting all that, putting beep bop boop and whatever. So there's so much that probably happened in the background here, and the reason why I'm pretty certain of that is because of how much they want this case dismissed, and because they seem to be pretty damn afraid of going to discovery.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in seeing what's going to come out. I know everyone's interested in seeing what's going to come out, because we've all had our skepticism and our assumptions of what's going on in Disney and how fucking weird and shady they are and the things that they do.
They suck.
And the things that can come out might be honestly surprising. And it might be things that we haven't even thought of to come out. And it might be also pretty wacky. So I'm interested.
If Gina is the reason why Kathleen Kennedy finally gets the fucking boot, that would be just a big feather in her cap.
I don't think she'll ever get the boot. Kathleen Kennedy will leave on her own terms.
Unless it's something so damning that comes out that there's public backlash. Disney, big companies like that fear legitimate public backlash.
Alex,
not just from our community, but from everyone.
Alex, I don't think... I think in the tenure of Disney Star Wars, I think they barely pulled a profit. I could be wrong. They could, but in accordance to what Star Wars should pull, they've barely pulled a profit.
So what do you think? She would need like a Diddy Epstein type of thing? That would be like the only way that she's out?
I mean, it has to be fucking terrible. But even then, you have Leslie Headland fucking being the runner of a project.
Leslie Headland is even...
Yeah, no, Kathleen Kennedy is just fine where she is. Nothing's going to fucking happen to her. Bob Iger doesn't have the stones to do any goddamn thing to actually make Disney good. So I'm just excited. I'm really excited because this is a big win in the terms of where Disney doesn't want to be. And it's a big win for Gina from where she was kicked down to and where she is right now.
You're excited, but you're not as hopeful as me. You're a Debbie Downer today.
What do you mean?
You're a Debbie Downer today. So
no, you have to be realistic in these.
Fuck that. Why are we going to be realistic? Listen. Realism was going to. If we were realistic at the beginning of this, then Gina was probably going to settle. That's the realism. It was never going to get this far, or Disney was going to get it dismissed. Well, the realism was that Disney was going to get their dismissal granted. The unrealistic thing was the judges were going to tell Disney not to fuck off not once but twice.
Yeah, and it's nice
we go for realism.
It's nice to have the hopeful things happen, but it doesn't mean you just keep piling on like, yes, Kathleen Kennedy might get booted. Like, nah,
you do. Why would you go back to realism and limit yourself?
Because it's more fun to be surprised than it is to be let down.
That is you. No, it isn't. That is like, I'm going to look at it negative and call it realistic, quote unquote. Because all people that say they're looking at things realistic are just being negative. That's all they're doing. Because when you look at things negative, like you said, you can't get disappointed. You got to look at things from a positive manner and be willing to be disappointed. You are just hedging your bets.
I'm not.
So that when it doesn't go the right way, you can go, see, I told you so.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I am speaking just the truth, Dan.
You're just speaking. You're just spewing. That's all you're doing.
That's very true. Speaking of spewing, CBS has a problem with not allowing their interviews to be fully spewed. That was a terrible little transition.
That was terrible.
That was awful. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they have another accusation coming down their way of selective editing. This time, it wasn't that Kamala was edited in their favor. This time, it was Speaker Mike Johnson sat down for an interview with them. And apparently, it was a 15, 20-minute interview. And he's accusing them of cutting out at least 5 minutes of the interview of the most damning parts. And he said he has receipts. Dave, do you just want to watch some of these?
I don't think this first video matters too much.
Full disclosure, I didn't watch a single fucking one of these things. Dave, I don't think you did either.
I did not.
Find out.
Yeah, so he tweets out, CBS has been under fire for selectively editing their interviews to promote Democrats and undermine Republicans. Yesterday, they chose to cut 5 important minutes out of my nearly 15-minute interview. You can be a judge as to why. Stand by for the receipt. So I don't think this video matters.
Maybe.
I'm just going to pass over it because this one has the split screen. I recently traveled to North Carolina, and victims of Hurricane Helene told me nearly 2 weeks after landfall, the Biden-Harris administration had still not provided them with all the resources they desperately needed. But CBS selectively edited out entirely this firsthand perspective. This is a video I think matters.
So that's a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
So that's a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. And when I was there on the ground, and you should go, I mean, bring the cameras and talk to the people there. They'll tell you, don't take politicians' words for this or the administration's word. Talk to the people there on the ground. They had not been provided the resources almost 2 weeks out from the storm that they desperately needed. And when I was there, 13 days post the storm hitting that state, people are still being rescued. They're stuck in the higher elevations in the mountains because the roads are down.
Completely different answer.
So they need every available resource and all hands on deck. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
And the thing is, what bothers me about that? Oh, why'd you just get out?
Yeah, it's my bad. I thought that.
The thing is,
I'll be right back.
It's not even like that answer was like a damning answer. It's not like he was like going hard against the Harris Biden administration. Like he was just saying like, hey, they still need resources down there. They haven't gotten what they needed.
Mhm.
Like it was a rather benign answer. Because here's the thing too, censoring a dude like Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is like the vanilla cake of vanilla cakes.
Mhm.
Like he is just nothing. So to censor him, it's not like he's going to give you a bombshell thing. It's not like he's fiery. It's not Matt Gaetz.
Yep.
It's not JD Vance. It's not like they're saying something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He is not like that was the most benign thing I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So
it continues.
Yeah.
Apparently, CBS also didn't want to hear about Virginia Governor Youngkin, who is trying to clean the state's voter rolls so non-American citizens can't vote there. We need more states doing this, but the Biden-Harris administration is suing Virginia and trying to stop it, which is true and which is ridiculous.
You know that it is against the law for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. That's established law.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But here's the problem. There's a number of states that are not requiring proof of citizenship when illegals or non-citizens register to vote. We know that's happening.
But respectfully, Speaker,
everybody should want the law to be followed.
You know that it is against the law for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. That's established law.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. But here's the problem. There's a number of states that are not requiring proof of citizenship when illegals or non-citizens register to vote. We know that's happening. Look, Glenn Youngkin in Virginia, I was going to say,
this is
he
so
issued
smart
an executive order to clean up their voting rolls heading into the election. Less than 30 days out, a couple of days ago, the Biden administration, Department of Justice, Biden-Harris administration, sued the governor and the Commonwealth of Virginia to try to prevent them from cleaning up their voter rolls. See, that kind of thing creates a lot of doubt and concern in the minds of a lot of the American people. Why would they do that? Everybody should want the law to be followed.
Yeah.
What would be hilarious?
Fucking wild.
What would be hilarious if he just refilmed himself, said that full answer, and just fucked with CBS, and CBS tries to come out with to be like, no, that was his fucking answer, and no one would believe them. Like if Mike Johnson and them were just like, let's just basically recreate your answer, do it the exact same way, and just add to it just to fuck with CBS. They wouldn't do that, but that would be hilarious.
And then he has one last one. The Biden-Harris admin let millions of illegal aliens in our country, so the House passed the SAVE Act to ensure only American citizens vote in American elections. CBS edited that out and focused on 2020 instead of immediate threats to election integrity. What a surprise.
Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. It's not me undermining it. It's the actions of the Biden-Harris administration in some of these states. Non-citizens are not allowed to vote under federal law.
So if your issue is with certain governors, shouldn't you be talking to them?
Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. It's not me undermining it. It's the actions of the Biden-Harris administration in some of these states. Non-citizens are not allowed to vote under federal law. But the states have prohibited. We passed the SAVE Act, in the House. The SAVE Act says you've got to have proof of citizenship before you register to vote. And Chuck Schumer and the Democrats blocked that in the Senate. We could have prevented this. The questions that people have about that. But the Democrats chose not to. They opened the border wide. A lot of people theorized that was so that they could have non-citizens to vote. These are realities, Margaret. I wish it weren't true, but that's the concern that people have. And in Wisconsin, for example, some of the counties are... It is law, but That's correct,
Really
but we
awkward.
have to make sure the law is followed.
Funny,
and
we
that is
can't hear
whole
the other
point.
side.
That has
Yeah.
always been the whole point of the SAVE Act and all the measures that we've tried to ensure. I believe, by my count, we have about 16 million illegal aliens in the country since Mayorkas and Harris and Biden opened the border wide. And because of that, there's concern, because those people are distributed all around the country, as you know. There's concern some of those people will try to participate in the elections. Look, some of our House races, I believe the Republicans are going to win the House, grow the House majority, win the Senate and the White House. But in some of our House races, I mean, I have a colleague who was elected by 6 votes in 2020. Some of these are decided by hundreds or a few thousands of votes. So if you have non-citizens participating against the law, and you have no mechanism in some states to stop it, that is the root of so much of the concern. And of course, you know, in California, they have ballot harvesting, right? Ballot harvesting is notorious for opening the door.
I'm convinced this is a meme now.
In Wisconsin, they're going to put, in some counties, unmanned ballot boxes in public parks again.
Yeah, they basically just, they completely altered all 3 of those answers.
So here's the thing.
Also, where do you think he is? Where is he in a booth? Did they set something up like in his office so he can?
They may have set something up where it's
no, I just kept staring at like the felt.
Yeah, no, I was trying to figure that out too. It might be, yeah, they might have set something up so it like looks like benign. But here's the thing, and
that's about it.
You want to kind of like, no, you don't want to. Fuck CBS. But at the same time, if we were giving them the benefit of the doubt, you look at those answers. Okay, they were a little bit longer. We're trying to scrape for time. We got 10 minutes. We did a 15-minute interview. We had to figure out where to cut 5 minutes, right? That's a normal TV thing. So where do you figure out how to cut it? That's the problem, is the things that they cut. They basically took the beginning of each answer and then just fuck the meat and potatoes of it. They didn't give you what Mike Johnson fully said. And that is the problem. And like he said, they took away the most damning parts of what he was saying. And it was really smart for them to film it, because now they could put this out. Now, what does this do for CBS? Because I was listening to Glenn Beck the other day, and they were saying CBS themselves does not have a license. That's not how it works. A network doesn't have a license. But what does have a license is all the small local affiliates. So how does this hurt CBS? Are there going to be more people calling for the affiliates, or at least calling their affiliates going, what the fuck? You know, and that could affect them. Like, what do you think happens here? Does CBS just keep trudging along and not caring?
I think they just keep trudging along and not caring, to be completely honest with you. They're editing these things because they edited the 60 Minutes Kamala Harris interview as well. But they're editing these things because they want to. They're editing these things because they have a specific narrative. Yeah, they have a specific narrative they have to hit. They have specific things that they have to make sure people aren't told that watch CBS.
Yep.
So, and they have specific things that to make sure that they are told. So they don't fucking care. They don't even care that Mike Johnson filmed it himself, because Mike Johnson's just a white supremacist fascist. So who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, none of it matters.
The right really doesn't care about Mike Johnson either, for the most part.
That's
so
true.
It's like he's not really. Here's the thing: this is going to get picked up, and it couldn't be worse timing for CBS, because if the Kamala thing happened and then Mike Johnson did this, November 1st, right? If this happened like November 1st, there's enough time in there that they'll bring up the Kamala thing, but it's already memory hold. This is 2 days later. Like, this is pretty fucking bad even for them, that they just did this 2 days later. And I wonder if this is going to just be more of a practice now, where, you know, conservatives are going to film themselves and just do that so that they can make sure that they get the full thing out there. It would be smart.
Yeah.
It'd be very smart.
Yeah.
So a quick aside, they're floating that Kamala's going to do Rogan now too, like we were talking about last night. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be fucking interesting. In terms of what's going on with the interviews and everything.
I still don't think she's going to do it. Not until I see it. I still don't think she's going to do it.
And, you know, I wonder where her media tour takes her next, because she seems to be picking very odd ones. You know, Fox News is normal. It's another political one.
That's a normal one.
Call Her Daddy's not fucking normal. Okay, that's weird.
No, but
you know, Breakfast Club is normal because Democrats go on Breakfast Club. That is normal. Or
but I was gonna say, Call Her Daddy's not normal, but neither is Trump going on like Bussin' with the Boys and all that stuff. So that's not necessarily here nor there.
I would love for Trump to go on Call Her Daddy, but we know what they're going
He's not
to
going
do.
to go on Call.
Well,
Why
here's
would
the
they
thing,
do that?
because we know what they're going to do. He's just going to ask her about why he's a womanizer, all of his marriages, this and that. Why does he hate abortion? It would be a shit show.
Yeah.
He would tear her the fuck up though, which would be the entertaining part. Because he would just be like, "You're a very nasty woman. I don't know how you have any ratings. You're wrong."
I am very interested on him and Rogan. I'm interested in how that goes.
I think Rogan is going to press him on some things that he's passionate about. I think Rogan will definitely not let him slide. But then again, Trump is used to adversarial stuff. So I don't think it's going to be mean. I don't think Trump's even going to take it as mean because an adversarial Rogan is a easy day for him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not some of the crazy leftists that are going to go at him and try to gotcha him. It'll be Rogan just legitimately asking questions and being like, well, I heard about this and I do this and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's going to be a very simpatico interview, but I think there's going to be moments where Joe's going to try and pin him. And, Trump's usually pretty good at those moments. He'll give a good answer.
I mean, I'd be interested if Rogan asks him, legitimately, why did you let Fauci do so much during?
He will. I think he will.
You allow so much of this to happen during COVID, because I know that you left it up to governors and you kind of left it up to so many things, but you are the president. Why didn't you step in and stop some of these things to be overstepping? I think that'd be a really interesting question Rogan. That's something that Rogan's passionate on what happened during COVID.
And
so
I
do
Trump
think
evolves.
Yeah,
we'll see if Trump evolves. But here's the thing: even if Trump gives his normal answer of Joe, I couldn't. The political climate there, I would have already been buried. And he said, I couldn't fire him. The Comey thing already happened. I was under investigation. And I think that's something that when he puts it that way to Joe Rogan's going to be like, you have a point. You were already under investigation for the Comey thing, another investigation, another impeachment. He would have definitely, if he would have fired Fauci, they would have impeached him right away again. It would have happened instantaneously. So I think from that standpoint, it's hard to argue with Trump. Like, listen, I was trying to get things done. I couldn't have dealt with another fucking impeachment if I would have fired Fauci. And then anyway, it would have been Deborah Birx. So what better would it have been? So it's like, if he goes that route, I couldn't have done, I would have been impeached. And then you have Birx sitting in the wings. Is that really much better? We know she's a fucking quack now too. So that's the answer I think Donald's going to give, because he's given a similar answer before. Like, I couldn't. Fauci, I couldn't fire Fauci. Do you guys see the political climate I was in? And he's not wrong. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think Rogan's going to ask him a few of those things. I think he'll ask him.
I hope he does. I really do hope he does.
I really think he's going to ask him, why do you continue to say the vaccine was a success when we know the vaccine doesn't cure COVID?
Yeah.
I think he's going to flat out ask him.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope he asks some really genuinely good questions. I think he will. I think he will, because he does have some beefs with Trump.
I also think RFK is going to prepare Trump for this, and Trump will have good answers.
Maybe
because RFK's friends with Joe, and he's going to know what Joe wants to hear, and he's going to know what Joe's audience is looking to hear. And I think RFK and them, they're going to coach him into a better answer for some of these COVID things than he's had in the past, because they kind of understand it more, and they understand what the opposition is looking at him against. Because in reality, RFK and Tulsi are still the opposition. They still don't believe in a lot of the things Trump believes, but they're just a coalition of people that see what the machine is doing. So it'll be fun. It will definitely be a Joe Rogan I tune into. I don't tune into all Joes. If there's someone interesting, I'll download it, but it'll be a good one.
Yes.
So that was a quick little aside. I thought that was a good aside just to see where we'd go there. All right. So next, let's get into some gaming. Let's talk games, as the famous Drunk 3PO says. There's some shit going on. Now, Dragon Age is a legendary franchise. It has a massive fan base and a lot of really good support, right?
I don't know if it's a screen cap, but this looks fucking awful. It looks fucking terrible.
Looks like they superimposed the face in Photoshop.
It looks gross.
But Dragon Age is a very popular title, and the Veilguard was one that people were looking forward to. There was always the chances of it being woke bullshit, but people were looking forward to it because overall, the last few Dragon Ages, from what I've heard, haven't been great. But it has a base. It's one of those things where it's going to get a certain number, similar to, Assassin's Creed and things like that. There are other fanboys that are going to buy it. Now, unfortunately for them, and this might hurt them, that Park Place, John Trent, one of our buddies, has this lead up here. This alleged Dragon Age The Veilguard playtester reveals how ultra woke game really is, beginning with non-binary Kunari companion. Now, granted, Dave and I will fully and totally admit,
I don't play Dragon Age.
No idea what the fuck a Qunari companion is. But we do understand the gaming landscape. We do understand what they've been trying to do. And there's some quotes in here, Dave, that I really wanted to talk about. So you're over them. Do you want to read all of them?
Well, I'll just start reading from the article because I think it's useful. An alleged Dragon Age: The Veilguard playtester broke his NDA to reveal how ultra woke the game really is, beginning with the fact that the Qunari companion, Tash, identifies as non-binary.
So quickly with that, I need people to realize how important it is that this tester broke his NDA, okay? Because breaking your NDA means that basically every other gaming company is probably never going to give you a gaming code again. You can't be trusted. Usually you get these gaming codes so you can be an early tester. You play the beta, you give them feedback, and then they go and they'll make tweaks based on what their early testers give them. You're supposed to have an NDA because you're not supposed to be able to tell them the issues. They do not want the major issues because they're not giving them the fully completed game. They're giving them the game with flaws in a lot of ways, but just they want to see how the mechanisms work. They want that type of feedback. How do the mechanisms work? What are the big bugs that are really fucking with you right now? Like, that's what they're looking for when they're giving it to these beta testers. And there's a select group that they give it to. It's not like everyone. It's not like early access where the game's basically done and you could play it. This is basically, you're an unpaid individual that gives the company feedback to make the game better. You're just a hardcore gamer. So I just want people to realize in the gaming space, or if you're a non-gamer, how important it is that this individual decided to break his NDA. So go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
And it continues. The playtester shared his information with YouTuber Noor. I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. I think it is Noor, Nuhre.
Yep.
And began with the Qunari companion Tash. She stated, "She told me that I am a non-binary person. How the hell did a fantasy game in Thetis have the word non-binary? She said that I don't like men and I don't like women. Woman? What the fuck? That must be a typo.
Might be a typo.
I identify myself as non-binary, just like that," which is interesting. So maybe I'm too deep in this shit, but not liking men or women doesn't make you non-binary. That's not how it works.
No, that's
not how it's supposed to work if you're gonna fucking go by that.
And doesn't that just mean like you're asexual or something like that? Like,
well,
there's certain ones you go into if you're in the gender fucking spectrum.
Yes, if you're not sexual, if you don't like then you're asexual. What you identify as, yet again, I don't prescribe to any of this shit. But if we're gonna go by rules, we got to go by rules here.
Yeah. Which they never do.
No, they don't. They don't. So there's no fucking reason for me to be saying this, but I'm going to do it anyway. But this is about someone's sexuality. This is about what they feel. That's how the rules are supposed to be. Non-binary is supposed to be how you feel, not your sexuality.
Now, Dave, when you scroll down,
okay.
Do you want me to continue with this one? Because I have it up too. You can keep going.
No, I can continue.
All right.
From there, he discussed romance options available in the game and implied that they are gender locked. So if you choose male pronouns, you can only romance the two female characters. That are the dwarf Harding and the female mage Neve, which is interesting because that's actually because Baldur's Gate 3, huge game. You could fuck anything in that because it's D&D and people who play D&D are degenerates.
Yes, they are.
And if you disagree, then fuck you. I
listen,
don't care.
And you're a legit D&D player. You are a proud degenerate.
Yes, exactly.
So,
however, if you choose non-binary as a pronoun option, you can romance all the characters. What? That's so fucking weird. How are you?
That's not fair. You play video games to do things that you couldn't do in real life, right? Like,
it's just so weird because they're like picking and choosing where they're being progressive.
Yeah. Like, if you
at least go full throated fucking crazy, dude.
Maybe that was like the one like semi-conservative person that like in there put their foot down and was like,
I think that the only thing I can think of is that that's their kind of get out of jail card where it's just like, well, we're not allowing you to be gay or however they want to fucking put it. Like, oh, it's not that woke or whatever, because in that aspect, that's the only way I could think that they're trying to get out of jail with this.
Here's the way. I don't think it's a get out of jail free. I think it's a stat stuffer, because here's the thing. A lot of gamers are fucking weirdos, so they would want to sit there and be able to fuck anything, right? So in order to get the fuck anything option, you have to choose non-binary. So now they can say, hey, a majority of our gamers chose non-binary. That is legitimizing non-binary.
So the thing is, though, you have to want to play the game first. It's like Baldur's Gate had people want to play it because, like, look, there's a lot of sexual shit in Baldur's Gate.
People playing Dragon Age.
Yes,
gonna be a good. It might not be as
well,
want to, but there's gonna be a good base.
Not with the press that they're getting. Not with the gameplay going downwards. If the gameplay's not there, then people aren't gonna fucking play it. It's that simple. Baldur's Gate 3, fantastic game.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't playing it just to have sex with anyone. That's a perk for people.
Well, I mean, bears just try to fuck you left and right in Baldur's Gate.
No. But that's just a perk for people. But Baldur's Gate 3, from all intents and purposes, is a fantastic fucking game.
Yeah.
In gameplay and in detail. Like, that's the reason why people play it. It's not because you can just have sex with anything. That's not the purpose of it.
That's what I think.
Yeah, of course that's what you think, you fucking weirdo. Anyway, regarding the pronouns, he detailed, of course there is a pronouns. Who the fuck are you talking to? Like, I'm sorry. They shove it in your throat just like Starfield, same thing. I do want to say something about that because people may not like the way I word this. Starfield didn't necessarily shove it in your throat. Starfield put it in the beginning of the game where you pick your pronouns and has absolutely fucking nothing to do with the rest of the game. So that's why people are like, well, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect anything. Where if you took it away, they would also scream that you took it away, even though apparently it doesn't matter.
It's always so funny. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect you, then it shouldn't matter either way.
Exactly. So obviously it matters a lot, enough that people want it in the game.
Yep.
And if you say, well, I don't want it in the game, then it matters a lot to them.
You bigot.
Yeah. But I will say, they didn't necessarily shove it in your throat. They tried to make it normal.
Which I really hate the way that they're describing that.
Yes,
but I'm just saying, your throat. That might be the gayest thing they're making us say.
As far as the game story, he described it as baffling. He then went to point to Solus's role. They put him on the side. He's basically in the fade, and basically we'll talk to him every now and then, and that's it. And at the end of the game, there is something that is going to happen. Okay. Next, he shared there's 2 elven gods. One of them is Gilnane, and he will make another dark spawns, and the other one, Elganon, he was trying to take the elves and basically enslave them again, something like that. He noted that it was just disappointment after disappointment.
So, and we don't have to go.
Wait, hold up. It's Andromeda all over again. That's fucking bad.
No.
Okay, that's the worst quote out of all of this. That's awful.
And
if you don't know, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Wow.
Terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. So that's bad. That's really
bad. That's really bad. So as far as how
we don't need to go deep into this. Like,
no,
like we said,
bad.
We're not Dragon Age players. We aren't. So there are things that we probably missed in there regarding, like, the elves and shit like that. But regardless, it is very obvious to tell when people are putting messaging in games and people are just pushing certain things in games or in just media and in general. And it's very obvious what they're doing in Veilguard. We had the character customization screen came out where you can't even make an ass that's generally plump, like not even fat. You can't even make it generally plump. You can't make it a little farther than like a jut in a wall. Like, it's weird. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to do that. I yearn for the days of fucking old WWE customization screens. Can you imagine being able to do that type of shit again? And some games still might have it. But
hold on, Dave. I want you. Are you still on the article, or did you get out of it?
No, I got out of it.
I'm going to read a quote from the article because this is important. And I think this says to why he decided to break his NDA.
Mm-hmm.
So next, he shared how his feedback was not even passed along to developers at BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
While recalling an interaction with his manager, he said, how about I give you a very comprehensive feedback so you can give it to the devs? And that came from a Dragon Age fan. He said, yes, I would like to do that, but no promises. So I sent it to him and I wrote it down there because he said, hey, you need to write it down in our computers. You cannot write it down on your personal computer. So I write it there and everything. And I show it to him. He looked at it and he said, that is like very good. Unfortunately, I cannot send it to him. He then explained why. I asked him the reason. He said, this is very good feedback, but I cannot because I was going in. Like every single character, I told him that was what is non-binary in that universe. How the hell does that word travel through space and time? So this is why I feel like he broke his NDA. Because he was being ignored.
Yeah, and because he is a Dragon Age fan. And because when you are a fan of something, You do not want to see it torn down. And you do not want to see it beholden to a certain message where it ruins the universe, the lore, the story that you love. Because, there can be little things here and there. And as long as it doesn't ruin shit, you can take it as a fan. Generally. Like, it might annoy you, but you might say, okay, well, we still have this, this, and that. Like, it's not too bad. It's just a little shitty in that aspect. But if you see things really start to crumble in the thing that you love and you want to stop it, then that's where you get annoyed. Then that's where you might break an NDA. Then that's where you might really want to speak out on it because you see the thing that has been with you throughout moments of your life that has probably inspired you in some way, being taken over, being used as a vessel for a message instead of being actually enjoyed and being adapted in a way that you would love to be seen. So that's why you do that. That's why you go out and you speak out on this type of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good to do. Dave, I forgot to mention our thing, and you could say yay or nay. Do you want to talk about the Asmongold shit or no?
No, I don't really care. A TLDR, Asmongold had a take that went against people he knows on the internet, people he's friends with on the internet. Asmongold got browbeaten.
He got fired from his own company.
Yeah, well, he also stepped away from things, and then he put out a 20-minute apology video where he said cleaning up his fucking house is penance. I think he said as a Catholic, him cleaning his house and not buying his maid as penance. Asmongold's a big fucking bitch. Everyone's known this. I don't get why people fucking like them in the first place. I usually don't like going after people.
Yeah, some decent takes on things,
yeah,
but it's not
that's
like
fine. Anyone can have a decent take. It's a crazy world. Decent takes are fucking easy to come by. They're just easy to come by. And standing by principle in any kind of way is the thing that's difficult to come by.
And here's the thing. If you say something fucked up, which I read his quote, it wasn't the best quote, but you don't go there and make it a big apology video. You just said, hey, I miffed up. I probably shouldn't have said it exactly the way I said it, but at the same time, fuck you. Like, you don't go with the full-throated apology. You don't. You never. Here's the thing. He broke the rule, the number one rule of a struggle session, the number one rule of this. You never fucking apologize. Because you know what now? Asmongold will always be pinned as this. Whatever he does from now on, he will always be pinned as the guy that was cool with Palestinian genocide.
You're just that Palestinian hater guy.
Fucking lame. Here's the thing. And his quote, I'll read his quote real quick because it was really fucking, it was stupid. Okay. If you consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have a genocide built in Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide baked in their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. Okay. First part was just fine. Sharia law does kind of have that thing in it. He wasn't wrong. Second part, saying he doesn't care about people getting genocided, it's fucking stupid, right? You don't say that. Like, that's just not a normal human thing to say.
It's not a normal thing to say. But I believe I might not have said it on the show in any aspect or ever on the internet with you. But I remember I made a defense of Stephen A. Smith one time of one of the many stupid things he said. When you are speaking in a manner all the fucking time in public, you're going to say stupid shit. It's just going to happen.
And that's what I love about Stephen A. Stephen A. doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly. So you don't need to make some grand apology anytime you say something fucking stupid. You just need to say, well, I fucked it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on.
You say,
I'm going to move on.
Yeah. You just be like, you know what? Hey, it was wrong for me to say I don't care about when people get genocide. There's innocent people there. It was in the heat of the moment. I was ranting. You know, I if I offended you, fuck off. And that's it. You move on.
Yeah.
You don't give. Yeah. Okay. I just want to do a quick thing.
Like cleaning your room is penance. That's when you're funny. That's when you're funny. That's when you're dumb.
I mean, and here's the thing. People are giving Asmongold way too much fucking credit because his words don't mean anything. They don't mean anything to the people fucking fighting the conflict in Gaza. They don't mean anything fucking the Israelis. They don't mean anything to the fucking Palestinian people. They don't mean anything. So it means a little bit.
But to his could mean something.
Army and the fucking losers on
But it could mean something.
What could mean something, Dave?
007 video game.
Terrible hard transition, but I'll take it.
So there's an upcoming video game that's going to explore James Bond origin story. And honestly, 007 video games have a decent track record. They have a pretty damn good track record, Dave. Actually.
Here's the problem with all this. They're showing 6 white guys. You know the original 007 is going to be a black dude.
No, black chick. So Hitman game developers IO Interactive are going to be the ones making this game, and they're hoping that it's going to be good enough to become a trilogy. Now, Hitman, fun games. Bond games, no. So I am interested in seeing how they make a good Bond game. The thing is, they're competent in making games. That's the good thing. Is we know they can make games,
and they're good at making fun shooters, fun first-person shooters, and
not even
storyish mode too.
Not even well, just fun, just because Hitman's like slight stealth, slight fucking around. I've seen people do weird kind of Saints Row shit on Hitman before.
Hitman's pretty, it's pretty universal.
Hitman can be wacky, can also be just really stealthy and really either way. Competent games. So it is interesting to see what they can do with 007, especially, I mean, 007, like I said, good track record on games as a franchise, really.
Yeah.
When you go and look back at the games, you might not remember, but you probably played a 007 game that you've enjoyed.
Absolutely.
But I mean, the one that gets talked about the most, and for good reason, GoldenEye. GoldenEye, fantastic, revolutionized video gaming in an incredible goddamn way. So I do wonder, there's probably going to be a reference in there.
So I'm very curious too, real quick. Is it going to be linear mission based, or is it going to be sandbox? Because I feel like you can go two different ways. You know, sandbox has been the norm now. You take these characters, you put them in a sandbox, kind of GTA wise. You could do whatever the fuck you want. You can go do the mission when you want to. But to me, I hope they don't do that, because James Bond is a very mission based individual. And I think with his character, a linear story works the best.
Yes.
Make it something where you have to do missions in order to progress the story.
Yes. So I'll just read his quote here.
Go for it.
It's not going to be about the genre game. I'm going to let you know that right now.
That's fine.
So the interactive boss, IO Interactive boss, this is his quote about the game. We absolutely feel like 20 plus years of training for the agent fantasy, creating an agent that travels the world and globetrotting whatnot, has given us some know-how on that. But obviously, James Bond is a different IP. It's a huge IP. It's not our IP. That's good to recognize.
Yes.
It's actually the first IP that is not our original IP from the ground up. True, he adds. But what's exciting about that project is that we actually got to do an original story. So it's not a gamification of a movie. It's completely beginning and becoming a story, hopefully for a big trilogy out there in the future. And equally important and exciting, it's a new Bond. It's a Bond we built from ground up for gamers. It's extremely exciting with all the tradition, all the history there is there together to work on this together with the family of creating a young Bond for gamers, a Bond that the gamers can call their own and grow with. So there's multiple things to take from that. You can take it in a negative way. You can take it in a positive way.
Positive way. Either way. It really
exactly. Positively, they're not ruining a movie if they do make it bad.
Which is difficult to do and really, especially in a modern day, make the movies and make them like on a video game version, do it any sort of satisfactory way for the fans. That would be really difficult because they would expect excellence with the technology, with the graphics. So it's harder to do. Back then, you're looking at pixelized motherfuckers. You're lucky that the face looks somewhat similar. And you just want to see like big moments from movies back then with games, right? And we got those. GoldenEye, you had some of the biggest moments from the movies being played out in pixelized version. This, I feel like it's kind of smarter to go at it in the way that they're going at it. Now, it needs to be a really good story. It needs to feel like Bond. As long as it feels like Bond and the story feels like things James Bond would do, then it's going to be great. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to feel like James Bond and people will enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing that's interesting, and that's where this can be negative.
Yes.
Is that it could be an origin story of a Bond that's not really Bond, that doesn't do things that 007 would necessarily do, that really builds him in a way that we haven't seen before, that we don't know of a Bond that would go against what his values would normally be as an agent. Because we got to remember that. We got to remember what his primary thing is. And that honestly as a womanizer.
And the thing is,
that's a thing for James Bond.
This is a big deal because what do they mean by a younger Bond? Because from what we have established with the James Bond thing is 007 is a code name for the most skilled agent in MI6. That is what it is. That's why there are so many different Bonds. There are different agents. There are different builds. They're similar individuals, but they are code names for the best agent there. That is what the 007 moniker is. Hence why the argument for a black Bond and things like that have always been there and been prevalent. And I've always kind of said, if you can get a good enough actor to do it and do it well, I wouldn't fucking care if there was a black Bond, to be quite honest. That wouldn't bother me in this day and age, because there are plenty of skilled actors. If you can get a really good black British actor that is suave, good looking, believable, that he can fuck any woman he looks at, cool. Like, you know what I mean? If you could play that role, because that's the way.
I think we're not in the right climate for that right now, to be completely honest with you.
If there isn't a fucking God of War level mini game of me plowing out a fat kitty girl that I've been going after the whole thing,
that's probably not going to happen.
Useless,
because it's not God of War. But if he isn't suave in some way, if he isn't skillful, if he isn't smooth, like there's certain things that could be issues with this, and there's certain obstacles that they're going to have to leap over.
Q needs to be good, because that people forget Bond is really, Q helps make Bond, because Q is the fucking one that is equipping Bond at all times.
So it is interesting to see where they're going to go with this, whether there's going to be an FPS, whether there's going to be a third person shooter, or if it's just going to be kind of an open world. It's not going to be turn-based.
It's Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So we'll see, though.
Yeah.
I'm interested. It could be a good game. It could be terrible. Completely honest with you. We'll see.
We'd like to give Hitman the benefit of the doubt that the effort they give, number one, hopefully there's not a ton of woke bullshit. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting some from all of it. I've always expected some lefty something in anything pop culture, because they've always been lefties. They've always thrown those in there. I hope there's no super woke overtures. Like you said, he needs to still be a womanizer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he still needs to be the one that hits on women and things like that. And there's always a Bond girl. There's always a Bond girl that he ends up plowing. That is just how it is. Now, do they do it on screen, or, you know, you can kind of make an inference to the fact that it occurred, right?
End up on the beach after the mission.
They end up on the beach, or, you know, scene happens, he saves her, and the next scene that you're in, he's walking away from bed and she's still laying there with the blankets over. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have
to get he's making his drink.
Exactly. You don't have to get something. You don't have to make it explicit. I was only, you know, obviously, but as long as it's there, that's a staple in every single Bond movie. So if we get that, awesome. You know, and I think Hitman can produce. I think IO can produce. I think that they're skilled enough and they understand, you know, a lot of what fans want in terms of in their games too. So I want to give them the goodwill. They haven't given me a reason to not give them goodwill. So
yeah, I mean, this is early. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see what happens with it.
If all I know is if I start to see Grums putting out tweets negative, then they're fucked. Because Grums is the Grim Reaper of games lately, okay? Grums, fucking Smash, Razor Fist. Some of them get their hands on it, and it sucks. God, you're screwed. Like, that's it. Honestly,
that's not even partly that, but also partly they do it to themselves. They just do it to themselves.
They make it easy. Listen, all Mark Grums does is he fucking takes snippets of what they say and puts it out there. There's barely any original things that Grums talks about. It is all snippets, and then he kind of opines on exactly what the snippets say. You can read them for yourself. That's all he's been doing. So, and that's all everyone usually in that space does. They let them bury themselves, like you said. So, all right, we're gonna end off with this fun little snippet, though.
Yes, we're gonna end off on a white pill.
Yes.
So, if you do not know of this, Subnautica is a game that came out a while ago. Subnautica is a open world survival game where you are on an alien planet that is basically all water. And it is fantastic. It is pretty fucking scary at times because of the big ass fish that are in the ocean. And it's actually has a full story in it that you can complete. I never did, unfortunately, not yet. I need to. But there is also Subnautica Below Zero, which I never played. And I only watched a little bit of it, but it had to do more with ice. There's actually alien penguins in there, so I think you'd probably like them. But teaser trailer came out for Subnautica 2, and I've already watched this. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fucking fun. I'm excited.
So the thing is, like, I've watched you play this game because you and our buddy Scott, your best friend, used to stream a little, and you guys would stream this, and it is the most peaceful game until it's not. Like, it is a very, like, you could sit there and just do mundane tasks, dive, go do things, come up, get resources. Like, you can do that type of stuff. And
the whole purpose is to get off the planet.
Yeah, and you can go back to the hub as much as you want. And but when it's not fucking peaceful, when you're sitting there and you're in need, if there's something wrong, if you need to fix something and you can't fucking do it, there's a giant fish. Like, it can become very quickly, it can become a tough game.
One of my favorite things that ever happened was Scott was playing it. I can't remember if this was on stream or not. It might have been. But he's in the dunes. And the dunes is one of the areas where a reaper could be. And the reapers basically look like big eels with fucking huge mandibles. And they're large fish. And they could just basically eat you.
The mandible claw.
And he's in his little boat, his little sub. It's just a little boy chugging along in the dunes. And you can hear the Reaper when it screams.
Oh, no.
And apparently when it roars and when it screams, it means that it can also hear you. That's the lore in the game, which already makes it fucking terrifying. But we hear it, and it's not good, but we're still moving. And all of a sudden, it just starts darkening over the ship. Just the sub. And it's right over top. And it was like perfect horror movie type stuff in Subnautica. That's why I love the game, because there's so many things that could happen that really feel great. Game. Yes. But here's the teaser for Subnautica 2. And like I said, I think it already looks damn good.
Let's see it. Darth Vader's in the game. Oh no! There's a Cthulhu in the game. It looks like a fucking Cthulhu.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. The Leviathans that they came up with were awesome, especially like the Ghost Leviathan. And they always had the teaser of an ancient Leviathan where the skull was fucking huge, and it was like, this thing used to live on this planet.
And of course, you're gonna find another one, right?
Well, I don't know what happened below zero. I don't know how big the thing's gotten below zero. Subnautica 2 could have, like, obviously that's probably some type of Leviathan right there, and that one's gonna be fucking terrifying whenever you reach it, whenever you see it.
Now, do you have any modes of defense in this game?
In the first one,
yeah.
So I get things jumbled up from betas and when it actually came out, because I believe there were some things in the betas where you kind of had modes of defense, and I think they took them out because it made the game a little janky, especially with how they wanted to do it. But I believe there was a way to do stasis to at least freeze things, because and you had like a heated knife, which was mainly like to cook peepers when you kill them, just so you didn't have to kill them, then cook them, then eat them.
Yeah.
But I don't remember there being a crazy amount of like huge defensive things in the first one. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't know what's going to come in the second one, because you do have, like, the machine that she had was similar to the one in the first one. It's like a man-made thing where you can use a grappling and you can move around in that, and it could go really low depths. Fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I believe you could mine with that and stuff, but I don't remember there being like crazy defense systems on that. And there's obviously a really huge sub, like a big, like, mobile home sub kind of thing. Yet again, no huge defenses, but it was able to move from place to place and have a place to go back to and bring resources.
And it was fairly big enough to not be fucked with. And a lot like that was.
Well, it still get fucked with, but you can get into areas with
less of a chance of it within the little
Yeah.
pod. The little pod will just get eaten up.
Yeah. But no, there wasn't anything crazy defensive, like
which makes it more difficult.
Exactly. Well, it just makes it scarier.
Game makes it scarier, but it looks cool. It's obviously put a ton of thought into that game with all the little things that they do, and you know, it's a cool game, and it's nice that. But how long has this game taken?
Well,
it's been a good amount of time
since Subnautica 2. Yeah, since Subnautica came out. Like I said, I don't remember when Below Zero came out, but since Subnautica came out, I think it's been like 6 years, 8 years, something like that. I think I might be. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since Subnautica like first came out, especially early access wise. And the lore that they dug into with that stuff, or like the ancient civilization.
So Subnautica came out January 23rd, 2018.
2018. 6 years.
You said it's been 6 years, so I want to see Below Zero.
I think that might have been 2020, 2021.
So 2021. So every 3 years, it seems like they're releasing something. Now, I don't know how deep Below Zero got, if it was as in depth, if it's kind of like, but they might have. But that's still pretty good. 3 years to work on.
And the interesting thing with 2 in that teaser trailer is it's 2 people. So could it be multiplayer? Yes. That is the interesting thing. That's and if you could do multiplayer on a planet like that, that could make it even more more fun,
much more.
Because especially like imagine like proximity chat. Ooh, when you're with a buddy, and like all of a sudden something starts happening to
like,
them.
Oh no, no. And the thing is too, like the value that's there, you're on the same world. So they're essentially building on their own world, which is nice because now in these 3 years since Below Zero,
I don't know if Subnautica 2 is going to be on the same world.
Okay.
I'm assuming it is. It had similar fish. I'm assuming it is.
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is. I
don't want to. Not. You're getting a similar base, it seems like.
Yes.
So they're not kind of remaking things from scratch. They're doing things in a very similar way. So they really could work on improvements on gameplay, adding new things, improving on graphics, like better mechanics and motion, things like that. So you're more than likely in 3 years since Below Zero getting a full-on improvement from what you got from Subnautica 1 and Below Zero. So that is cool. It's always nice to see developers and companies improving and kind of staying to what their fans like. And now, like you said, if there's 2 players, maybe we'll get some legitimate good dialogue and things like that too, which could be fun. So it's interesting. I'm probably not going to pick it up and play because I don't play video games. But David, we will live vicariously through you because right now you are Sparking Zero. Give us the Sparking Zero update.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun. I'm just starting to really get into the what ifs and trying to go into different routes and episode battles. I started with Goku, obviously, because now I have all the episode battles done.
Yeah.
Of every character. And getting the what ifs opened up is a little difficult.
Which is good.
It's
supposed to be difficult.
It's within stronger battles. And within those stronger battles, like the original completion is just stay alive for a certain amount of time, endure the fight for a certain amount of time, just don't die. Like the first one is Raditz. And you have to beat him in order to open up the next route. And the time limit isn't that long. So you have to beat him in a short enough time limit.
Which is always so hard because you're always at a disadvantage.
It can be annoying depending on how they fight you.
Yes.
So, but I was able to open it up and it opened up some interesting things and some interesting what ifs. Like I got Goku as a Super Saiyan on Earth against Vegeta.
Yeah, I saw that. And that was like Smackdown fucking City.
Yeah.
A Super Saiyan with the Great Ape.
Yeah, but then Vegeta became Super Saiyan before even hitting Namek, and then he took out Frieza, and you fight Vegeta on Namek as Super Saiyans. So that like you get some fucking weird what ifs. Cool. But these are only just the starters I've been seeing. So I'm very interested in the rest of them.
A really cool interaction. I don't know if you experienced it, but when you do Goku against future Gohan, it's such a like a sad interaction.
Yeah, I did see
where
that.
Goku was like, seeing you this way, I'm so sorry I wasn't there to help you.
Yeah.
I should have been there. And then like Gohan's like, Father, you always did everything you could to protect this planet.
Yeah.
I just want to make you proud in your legacy. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
tearjerker. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Sparking Zero is a fantastic game. It lives up to the hype.
The thing is, too, it's exactly the interaction that, like, you could see that interaction occurring if Goku ever did go back in a time to see his son. Just like, I wasn't there to protect you. Because that's Goku's thing. He is a protector. He's not a hero. That's the one thing that people always conflate with Goku. Goku eventually becomes more hero-esque, but Goku is not a hero. He's a guy that likes to fight people, strong people, and if you fuck with his friends, he's now going to give you no mercy. Before you were going to get mercy. You fuck with his friends and his family, now he's going to kill you. And that's kind of just Goku's track. It just so happens that he's protecting the Earth while doing that. Like, so that's kind of what people need to understand about, you know, when you're watching Dragon Ball and Goku and things like that, or reading anything. So I'm going to give a quick update though on the manga I'm reading, because Kingdom, Dave, you're the person that turned me on to Kingdom. And Kingdom is one of the coolest fucking manga around, because it's a historical manga. They change around a lot of the names, but it's about the unification of China. And we always, Dave, JoJo's always gets so much credit for being forever long, and it's still going on. And it's 1,000 plus, what is that? Almost 1,100 chapters now with JoJo. They're close.
I don't know. They're in different parts, and I think all the parts go different chapters. So I don't fucking
They're
know.
really good.
I still have to finish JoJo Leon because I know that's done now.
But Kingdom is up to 814 chapters. And when I tell you, Dave, in the last 3 chapters, they have finally started what could be a unification process. at chapter 812, 811, 812, and now we're at 814. I just finished that one, and that was the most recent update, only 3 days ago. But they finally are giving you a semblance of what unification may look like. It took so fucking long to get here. And the character development of the main character, Shin, is incredible. Because for a little while there, for about 50 chapters, Shin's kind of an afterthought. He's there, but there is no real war. And you're focusing on some of the other great generals and things like that. And you're focusing on some of the other regions. They've brought Shin back in a big way, and the High Shin unit and things like that, which is his unit. And it's like, you see the track of him becoming a great general, which has always been his goal. And you can actually see the track of the unification of China starting to occur. And it's really fucking cool. And the way that they're doing it is amazing. And I really hope, like, you know, again, I don't want this to be another manga like Berserk that I poured into, and it gets to so long where something happens and it doesn't fucking finish the right way. Like, I could see this going, Dave. Easily, I can see this going for another 800 chapters.
Yeah, probably. I'm happy I put you onto that and I completely left it just to never talk to you about it.
You're awful. You are the worst. You do this consistently. But no, it's really good. If anybody's looking, if you're not like a real like shonen fan, or like you find some of that stuff to be dumb, but like, hey, you're a comic book person, I'm telling you, pick up Kingdom. Don't watch the anime. The anime is miserable. They try to do like the CGI type of
weird 3D stuff
like
on there.
Code Lyoko type of shit, and it's not great. You know, and even like the story and the fighting, like the fighting is so intense in the manga, and in the anime, it's like they're barely moving. It's like, ho ha ha, hey ho ha, I will swing now. Like, it's not great. But if you are looking for a cool, different type of manga, you turn me on to it because, you know, I like history and things like that. Really good. And that and like Vinland Saga are two just incredible ones that cover in parts of history.
Yes.
And very different manga in a lot of ways. So I feel like that's one that people would just enjoy outside of being a traditional shonen, seinen manga fan and things like that. But all right, Dave, anything else to add before we get the fuck out of here?
No, that's about it.
Yeah, no, we've been going for about an hour and a half. I appreciate everyone that's hung out with us, everyone that's watched. We like you all. No Nate tonight. I'm kind of sad.
That's all right. He's probably busy.
And no squiggles. Like but yeah, no, it's okay. We love our people. We appreciate everyone that has watched. If you're watched on X, thank you so much. Give us a repost, share us over there, follow us, all that good stuff. On Facebook, give us a follow and share. YouTube, give us a like. Smash the subscribe button. I think I said that backwards, but yeah, overall, we appreciate it all. If you're listening to this in podcast form, make sure you like it, make sure you rate us 5 stars, and follow us, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you're watching or listening. And thanks. We'll be back tomorrow.